Lately, we've been talking about this word, contrast, in art class. Contrast is when artists take two different things and put them together to create something that's visually interesting. For this project, we're going to be using black and white to create a high contrast in our designs. Here are 6 different patterns that I've created using line and shape and black and white to create a high contrast. When I made each one of these designs, I thought about it kind of like a scale. I never wanted it to feel too heavy on the white colored side or the dark black color side. I wanted it to be kind of even. So as I made my design, that's what I was thinking about. We're going to be using some kind of pattern or high contrast design with black and white for this project. First, we're going to start with your large piece of paper and this oval. We're going to turn this oval into a fish. You probably do not want to trace this oval right in the center of your paper because then you won't have room for maybe a tail or a very large tail. So I'm going to scoot this oval to this side because my tail is going to be over here. If you want your tail on this side, scoot your oval this way and you can make your tail over here. All right, if you need a friend to hold the pattern still for you, I bet someone at your table will hold it for you. We're going to start with a pencil and trace right around the stencil to make this nice large oval shape. I'm going to trace that large oval shape with a black Sharpie so that it stands out. And already I'm getting some contrast with the black and white. I have to turn this boring oval into a fish. So I'm going to think about the type of fin I want to add. Maybe I'll add a fin like this. And a lower fin like that. Now I can put his tail on. I'll start here at the end. Oh, I'm going to use a lot of this paper to make this big tail at the end. And a few other details. I need an eye. I like to make my eyes like this. I start with a large papa circle, put a mama circle inside, a baby circle inside there, and then I color in the mama circle. Gives my eyes just a little bit of life to have that one little white highlight. And his little fishy mouth. I could put a little smile. I could put a big kind of frowny line like the pout pout fish. I think I'm going to give this fish some fishy lips. Like that. I'm going to add a few more details to my fish and then I'll be ready to think about my pattern on the body. Okay, now going back to my high contrast black and white designs, I could choose one of these. I could use one of them for inspiration and change it around a bit, or you can come up with your own design to add to the body of the fish. But I am looking for contrast. I'm looking for high contrast between black and white. So again, go back to that scale. Think about the scale. As you're drawing, if you see too many white spaces or too much white, make sure you're adding more black to balance it out and create that high contrast look that these patterns have. Now let's see, what should I start with? Maybe you want to start with just a shape, like a circle. Almost like I'm adding little polka dots to my fish. This is a nice design, but I don't see enough contrast yet. I see a lot of white and just some thin black lines. That's not enough black. I got to balance it out to make that high contrast. So maybe I'll put a smaller circle inside. Adding more lines. Maybe I will fill in this area with lines. Kind of thinking about that pattern that was on that idea sheet I showed you. starting to get more black on my paper here, so I'm creating more contrast and making it more interesting to look at. All the lines that I'm creating on this paper, I'm thinking about, nothing looks scribbled. Everything looked like it took some thought. Now on the design here, I used little circles on the inside, but what if I change that? What if on the inside I use like a diamond shape and color that in? That way I'm using that pattern as inspiration, but I'm not just totally copying it. I'm coming up with some of my own ideas. Getting more black into this picture, so I'm creating more contrast. Again, when I'm coloring in, I'm coloring solid. I don't want any white to show in those areas, so I made sure that I colored it in completely. Now I think I want to add one more thing. I know, little polka dots around each large circle, just to finish it off a little bit. Now I have more black on my paper. I've created more contrast and made this fish's body quite interesting. If you see that you still have some pencil lines showing, you can go in with your eraser and clean that up a bit. Okay, that looks better. And as always, make sure your name is on here. I'm using a pencil. And we're gonna save this fish for next week when we add step 2, and we'll add some color.